I've been using the DJI Osmo Pocket for a while now, and during this time I've learned a couple of tips and tricks that I want to share with you, and I think those tips that I have for you today will make your general experience with this product a lot better. What's up everybody, this is Mike, welcome back to another video, and the DJI Osmo Pocket is certainly one of the best gadgets that I've ever owned. It's so powerful, it's portable, it's amazing, and I really love it. There are many things about it that I don't really enjoy, and I'm going to make another video about the things that I really dislike about the DJI Osmo Pocket, but in today's video we're going to focus on the tips and tricks that you can incorporate in your life when you use the DJI Osmo Pocket. So let's start off with tip number one. Tip number one is you need to hold the device properly. And what I mean by that is you need to carry it in a way that you don't block the microphones. As you may know, there are two microphones on the DJI Osmo Pocket. One on the front, just under the display, and one on the bottom left corner, which is also for noise cancelling. And if you hold it like this, it's really easy to block the microphones. So I made a little test showing you what the difference is when you hold it right and when you hold it wrong. So let's check it out. I'm now holding the Osmo Pocket with my whole hand, so you probably don't hear me too well. But if I remove my hand, then you should start hearing much better. So take note and don't cover the microphones. As you can see from the video, if you block the microphones with your hand, you end up with an audio that is almost unusable, so make sure you're aware where the microphones are and hold your device properly. My next tip is connected with the previous one because it's also about the audio. And if you want to get nice crispy audio, you need to place the microphones facing towards the object that you want to shoot. So if you're vlogging, of course you need to place the Osmo Pocket facing you, so the microphones are also facing you. However, if you want to capture some video and a good sound from an object that is facing away from you, then you need to turn it around and film like this. It's a bit counterintuitive, I know, but that makes the most sense for the microphones because they are facing forward. So I made another test showing you the difference, and I will let you judge for yourself. So I'm now holding the Osmo Pocket and it's facing me, so both microphones are actually picking up the audio from my voice pretty well, I think. But what happens if I turn it around? Now the microphones should be a bit more muffled and you probably don't hear my voice that well. My next tip is all about keeping the Osmo Pocket stable, especially during time lapses or any other type of footage that requires the Osmo Pocket to stay in one place on the ground. And as the base is quite small and you don't get a tripod in the package with the Osmo Pocket, you're really out of luck because you need to put it on the ground like this. And let's say there is some small gust of wind. It's very easy to knock the Osmo Pocket down and you might break the camera or you might break something else, and it's really not ideal. So to fix that, you'll need a smartphone bracket like this one. I believe almost everyone has one of these laying around in the house, and a tripod. Whether it's a cheap one like this or a Joby GorillaPod or any other brand, it could do the job just fine. So what you need to do is mount your smartphone bracket on top of your tripod. Then you need to mount your smartphone on this smartphone bracket, and then you simply need to use your Osmo Pocket to connect it to your smartphone. And there you go. Now you have the perfect setup for keeping the Osmo Pocket very stable. You can place it on the ground. If you have the GorillaPod, you can even mount it on a tree branch or anything else that you might want to stick it onto, and you're good to go. You can make a nice time lapse on a very different surface, and generally that will give you so much more freedom to capture amazing time lapses or footage from a different perspective. This next tip that I have for you is about the Inception shot. That shot became very popular with the release of the DJI Ronin S, but also other gimbals that support the same feature. And that feature is rotating the camera 360 degrees, so that creates this super cool looking Inception type of shot. And unfortunately, it's not as easy to reproduce this same effect on the Osmo Pocket, but it's very possible to do it if you really want to achieve it. So to do it, you need to set the gimbal to FPV. That will allow you to keep rotating the gimbal in every direction you want, and from there it's just a matter of keeping the gimbal stable. I've already set my gimbal to FPV, and now if I hold it like this, I can actually start rotating and create that circular motion with the Osmo Pocket. Of course, it's not as easy to do because you really need to be very stable when you do it, but once you start practicing, you will get there. My next tip is all about the ND filters, and you really need to invest in ND filters if you want to squeeze everything out of this device and just get the best shots possible from the Osmo Pocket. Of course, you can just shoot in auto mode with this device and you get a nice footage, but then the ISO, the shutter speed, they're constantly jumping up and down, and you end up with a footage that is not looking particularly pleasing to the eye because of those jumps in the shutter speed and the ISO. So to fix that, you need to use manual camera settings. You need to use the right shutter speed, which is of course double your frame rate. And for that, you need to use ND filters. I made a whole video about the ND filters that I'm using currently for this device from Freewell, and I'll be linking it in the description, also in the cards, so you can check it out. But trust me, it's worth it. So if you're shooting the same way as I do, you're very familiar with the following scenario. You're always switching between 4K 30 frames per second and 4K 60 frames per second. But it's very easy to switch between those two frames per second modes if you simply slide to the right and you are greeted with the mode selection screen. Then you have photo, video, slow-mo, whatever. Slide once again on video, and then you will have the resolution. You can change from 4K to 1080p if you want, and then on the right side you also have the frames per second. So you can easily just swipe down to go from 60 to 30, or you can swipe up to go from 30 to 60. So if you're on the go, you can switch very quickly between those two. I don't know about you, but I personally hate those situations when I want to shoot something but I'm out of juice and I cannot start recording. So to fix that, I am always carrying with me a power bank. And the good thing about power banks is that you can use a power bank to charge your Osmo Pocket on the go, not only when the Osmo Pocket is not in use, but also while you're shooting. And that's one of the best things about using a power bank with your Osmo Pocket. If you have a long cable, you can just connect your power bank to the Osmo Pocket. Just leave your power bank in your pocket and continue shooting while the Osmo Pocket is actually charging. And that's great for never missing any important shots, and it's just very convenient to have. And there you guys have it. Those are my 7 tips for the DJI Osmo Pocket. I really hope you enjoyed them. Those are simple tips that I've learned along the way. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video to show some support, and I'll catch you very soon in my next one. Ciao!